Hey everyone, welcome to Las Vegas. So it was a really crazy busy week. Last Wednesday, I tore down the fish tanks and got them in buckets, and then Thursday I worked my last day in Washington, and then we started the drive. We got in about 2 in the afternoon on Friday, and then we unloaded everything, and then Saturday I started setting up fish tanks. And Sunday I finished setting up fish tanks. I got the Saturday I got them set up. Sunday I got them aquascaped. And then I went to work on Monday. And so now it's Friday again, and I finally have time to give you guys an update. So everything made it except for one bucket of fish, which had all of my large rainbows in it. So this tank got hit the hardest with occupancy loss. I lost all of my large rainbows, my semi-algae eaters, my Roseline sharks. Luckily, the fish that survived out of that bucket, that there were not many, were my Plecostomus. So my 3 plecos, 1 Cory that was in that bucket, and 1 little fish that had just randomly been put in that bucket. So anything else that was in there, including a couple of my penguin tetras, was unfortunately DOA when we arrived. So I set up the buckets with a portable battery operated air pump, and what happened is the air pump got disconnected accidentally during transport. So the vibrations of the truck or whatever, just the air line came off, so that bucket didn't have the air supply that all the other buckets did. Everybody else traveled super well. Like I said, no other losses. There's one of my Histogramma. That's my ZZI female. And then I saw her over here. Yep, there's my Cockatoides wild Peru cut female. Of course, I have 2 females, so you know that's always a not good for like eventual breeding, but they're good fish and they seem to have set up nice territories. So as you can see, the 75 got a completely different rescape. Tried something new. Kind of banked the soil a little and used the pleco caves to kind of oyster that up. All of my Anubias nana is spread out, and then I put my creams in the back corner, so back there and in the back there, to kind of hopefully give a more casting across look. And this piece of driftwood, I was waiting for it to sink, and then I'm going to move it, and that's just sitting on top of a whole field of different Anubias. So I'm pretty happy with it. I might tweak the landscape some more as time goes on, but I think I like it fairly well. Then the 40-gallon breeder Lake Tanganyika tank, I did something a little different here as well. I decided to try piling just all the shells in one pile and see how the fish dealt with it. So far it seems like they're doing fine. They've kind of moved shells around and they've dug, and then there's this shell over here, and you see the little baby. They actually made it. That shell has a few little fry living in it, and the parents are taking care of it. So they handled the move and everything. The only trauma in here is that this Julie Cronus, who's really skittish, you can see he's gotten kind of beat up. He was fine going in the bucket, came out of the bucket a little beat up, and now the other fish are kind of pushing him away. So he's just kind of hangs out in the front now. I have been trying to catch him because I was like, I can put you in any other tank pretty much. He's not going to be a problem for the other fish in my other Tanganyika tank or something. But every time I try to net him out, he just runs and hides. So I'll try not to make this ridiculously long. Okay. Next, we'll go to the baby fish. They're over here. Which, by the way, when I was doing this, my mom's like, you have too many tanks. Why do you need baby fish tank? So this is the Cory Grow Out. There are the 2 rainbow fry, so they did make it just fine. And you can see them swimming up in the top corner. And this is the Coolie Loach tank. So when I was breaking down the 75, I pulled 3 more Coolie Loaches out, and I thought, we might as well put them with the other 4 that were in with the babies. So now I have 7 Coolie Loaches in here. You can see they like to swim in these, do their little circular Coolie Loach laps. Now you'll also notice that this tank did not have rockwork before. So I broke down the 5 gallon. So this was all the rocks and the driftwood and the Bruciphilandra from the 5.5 gallon that had housed the cardinal tetras. The cardinal tetras are now in the 75, and the Corys are enjoying having aquascaped tank. And of course a lot of trumpet snails came with the move, which I'm not exactly sure which tank they came out of because there weren't that many in this tank. They just came out of the woodwork. They must have been in with the 5.5 in the soil, and I just didn't see it. And then they were in the stone, the dragon stone, when I moved it over. But all the plants seem to be doing okay, considering I went from having lavender, I went from having a TDS water of about 100, 120 to the TDS of this water is 500, which I didn't even realize it could be 500 and not be solid. But then you drink it and it sort of tastes like dirt, so maybe it is solid. So the only other casualty we had in the move was that the old tank for the Pearl ocellatus was leaking. So I decided instead of moving a tank that was leaking, we just bring the stand. And then when I got up here, I went to the local fish store and they had a 55 on sale for 80 bucks with the lid. So that was awesome. Totally good deal, I think, since that's about what they were costing on the Petco $1 a gallon sale. You had to buy the lid separate. And I came to realize that the old tank must not have been a 55 because this tank is a whole lot taller. I don't know what size it was. I also, of course, sadly realized this after I bought the tank and brought it home. I could have put a deeper tank on here. The stand would have held another couple inches. I might have been able to get a 60 or a 75 or something. But the fish all made it fine. Head count on these guys are 17. They have been settling in nicely. I think the tank looks far better than it did before. The only thing, so you'll see I have this plant floating. It looked really, really bad after transport and not having light for a few days. So I just decided to float it before I planted it in case it didn't spring back. But it seems to be doing well. Where I planted it in the other Tanganyika tank, it's doing really well. I just didn't know because that plant, I think the water was really just too hard for it naturally. But everyone's doing well. You can see the guppy grass I just took clippings of. I didn't bring all of it. The Java fern, I think it's all looking really good. These guys think I must need to feed them. So it's kind of throwing me here because I always put black behind my tanks, but I kind of like this one without. But I'd want to put some sort of background because I don't like the cords hanging in the back. So what do you guys think? Like, should I put like a neutral back there, or should I just put black, or should I just leave it alone? I mean, I could get over the cords, I guess. But everyone's settling in well. No major filtration issues. Everything's, you know, there's no major cycling going on. Everything's held its filtration pretty good. Just the rainbow loss, which was very sad, a whole bucket of fish soup. but it could have been a lot worse. I mean, I'm loving the school of cardinals in here, and those were all from the 5 gallon, well, and then the ones that were in this tank originally. So there's about 35 or 40 of them now. So that's really nice. I'm thinking of maybe getting a huge group of the lamb chop resporas and just going with some smaller fish instead of replacing the big fish. But I haven't decided. And of course we can tell the Corys seem to be happy since we have a new batch of eggs today. I got spawning activity out of them as soon as they went out of the bucket into the tank. So obviously nobody's too traumatized. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that update. Sorry I didn't get any filming done on the teardown or the setup. There was just too much going on and too tight of a time frame. Like I said, today is like my first day that I can actually think. I've had a week of work and trying to get settled in, and you can see my house is still full of boxes, but it's this is all fish stuff. I have to figure out where to put it. All the fish stuff. But it's really nice, and I have to control myself because I so want to set up more tanks. But no more tanks for now. All right, have a good weekend, and I'll hope to update you guys again soon. Bye.